Welcome to the Copper State Fit podcast, where we help men and women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s transform their bodies, energy, and confidence without extreme diets or endless cardio. You've worked hard to build your career, your family, and your life, but along the way, your health took a backseat. Now it's time to get back what you've lost. Each episode, we'll cut through the noise and bring you real-world strategies in nutrition, training, and mindset to help you drop body fat, boost energy, and perform at your best without giving up carbs, fun, or your social life. I'm your host, Adam Petropoulos, head coach and founder of Copper State Fit. Let's redefine what's possible, one episode at a time. Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Adam here. This podcast is actually going to be broken up into a 3-part series where I'm going to be breaking down the most overlooked fat loss and performance lever there is, sleep. And just a quick heads up, this episode is actually the audio from a live workshop that I did with our paying clients called Don't Sleep on Sleep. So if you hear me reference any charts or graphs or it just doesn't make sense in some parts, that's why. So if you want the full experience, including the video, workshop replay, and the workbook that goes with it, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or shoot me an email and I'll send it over to you personally. This is part 1, where we're going to be uncovering why sleep might be the bottleneck holding back your results. Enjoy. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So today's call is Don't Sleep on Sleep, the missing link to faster fat loss, stronger performance and recovery, and better health. So guys, if you're tired of feeling tired, do you feel like you're doing everything right? Feel like you're tracking your food, crushing your workouts, drinking your water, getting your steps, getting your fruits and veggies. You're doing everything, but yet you're still waking up drained, dragging through the day, wondering why the scale maybe won't budge. Then it's not just what you do during the day. It's not just those things like tracking your food or, getting your steps, etc., but how well you can recover and how much of an impact your sleep has on those things. So imagine this instead. You wake up refreshed, okay? Not needing to hit the snooze button. You've got energy that lasts all day. You're focused, in a good mood. Cravings, guys, hunger, cravings, finally under control. Weight starts coming off without having to do more. Just seems like, gosh, why is this so effortless when before it seemed like I was like having to white knuckle it to make it through? Better sleep unlocks better results. So what you're going to learn today, we're going to dive into the missing link to your results. We're going to talk about sleep and recovery. We're going to go through the science, the pitfalls or the big mistakes that most people make, and how to recognize them, how to fix them. Here's the roadmap. We'll talk through sleep quantity. So are you getting enough? Sleep quality, what actually happens while you sleep and what's important, and then how to fix it, and what I call our CSF 85321 sleep protocol, and then a 7-day game plan, 7-day challenge or 7-day game plan for you guys. You're going to walk away knowing exactly what to track, okay, what to change, how to improve your sleep and improve your health, performance, and fat loss. So this I thought was a great quote here. Sleep is the single most effective thing we can do to reset our brain, body, and health each day. In fact, if any of you have ever watched the CrossFit Games and the male dominant athlete Matt Fraser, I'll paraphrase here, but was quoted as saying his sleep should be considered a performance enhancing drug. He was somebody who regularly slept, I heard, around 9 hours regularly. So super duper important. So sleep, the secret weapon you're probably ignoring. So let's talk about why sleep matters from big global 30,000 foot view, right? We said you can be doing everything right, tracking your food, hitting your calories, weighing and measuring everything, getting your workout steps, all of those things. But poor sleep, guys, is going to create hormonal chaos. Okay. Ghrelin, if you've ever heard of ghrelin, just think the word grr. So like when you're hungry, your stomach growls. Ghrelin is the hormone that increases hunger. And that hormone goes up when we don't have adequate sleep. Okay.
Leptin, which is the hormone that influences the feeling of fullness or satiety, that hormone goes down. So, I mean, think about just those two things alone, where a lack of sleep is going to increase your hunger and decrease how full you feel. Like after eating a meal and you're like, gosh, I'm still hungry. Okay. Just those two things alone can totally wreak havoc. Not to mention the insulin resistance that can come from that. You know, here's a crazy thing. I don't have it listed here, but there was a study that was actually done on top tier soldiers. We're talking about special forces soldiers, right? And, think Navy SEALs and stuff. But they, for 72 hours, were sleep deprived. They took their blood before and after the 72 hours. And these are tip of the spear, super fit individuals. And within 72 hours, they were already showing markers and signs of prediabetes from sleep deprivation. So it is a huge, huge impact on insulin resistance, on your thyroid. Okay, so your body's going to downregulate thyroid hormone, reduce testosterone, which is huge for both men and women for everything from repair to energy levels, all that stuff, and then growth hormone as well. So it really just is chaos across virtually every hormone. Okay, it pushes your body into that sympathetic fight or flight mode. So your body's constantly running in that fight or flight rather than getting you into, or you're less in the parasympathetic, which is the rest and repair. Okay. So without sleep, fat loss is going to stall. And to be honest with you guys, it's not because there is any magic here that is outdoing the law of thermodynamics. So again, energy in out, calories in out. But back to the hunger and satiety, like it's just hard to stick with anything, especially a calorie deficit. So fat loss is going to stall. Performance, I mean, yeah, at the gym, your workouts, if you're playing sports, pickleball, golf, any of those things right there, that's going to suffer. Recovery, we're not going to recover from those workouts. We're going to feel sore longer. And of course, metabolic health, things like I said, blood sugar levels, A1C, your cholesterol, triglycerides, all those things are going to be a wreck as well. In fact, one study found that reduced sleep led to muscle loss and increased body fat, even when the diet was controlled. So here's what happened there. Get this. So the weight didn't change for these individuals, but these people who weren't getting enough sleep, and their calories were controlled, okay? They actually were losing muscle and gaining body fat. So the scale wasn't moving. So every pound they were losing of muscle, they were putting back on a pound of body fat. In other words, they were just becoming a fatter version of themselves at the exact same weight. So crazy. And if you wanted to screenshot, take a look at that study, I put that link there. Also, it really affects your allostatic load. And ultimately, guys, the allostatic load is the compounded effects of all stress on our body, from mental stress to physical stress like exercise to lack of sleep to immunity, all those things. I mean, the outside world is putting upon us. That's the allostatic load. This is going to, lack of sleep is going to impact or affect your ability to handle that stress. So, what do we need to know? Obviously, sleep isn't just rest, it's regeneration. Every major fat loss, performance, or recovery process is amplified or sabotaged by how well you sleep. So during sleep, okay, growth hormone spikes, okay, which boosts muscle repair and fat metabolism. Testosterone production increases, which supports lean muscle. Insulin sensitivity improves, which is better blood sugar control and fat burning. Your cortisol drops, which lowers inflammation and helps with belly fat, specifically visceral fat, not like the belly fat you can grab, but I'm talking about that belly fat that's around the organs, the liver, the kidneys, the intestines, like that nasty fat that is linked to chronic disease. And leptin and ghrelin normalize with solid sleep. So again, hunger and cravings. Guys, timing matters too. So your sleep works in stages and cycles, and missing deep or REM sleep, which we'll get to in a little bit, but has specific consequences. Less deep sleep. Deep sleep is where your body recovers. Think of deep sleep as recovering your body, your muscles, organs, your cells turning over, etc. And think of REM sleep and basically deep sleep, guys, the delta wave, like basically your brain's not really moving very much at all. It's very, very low activity, probably the lowest brain activity. Whereas the REM sleep, that's where it's actually pretty active, usually when we're dreaming, but that's where a lot of the brain repair goes on. Okay. That's also for willpower. Okay. And mood, right? So those are very, very important stages of sleep there. So again, bottom line, sleep is where your body transforms, restores. And without it, you're just going to slow down progress. Okay. You're not going to slow down. You'll probably even reverse it. Right.
Hey guys, Coach Adam here. Now that you understand why sleep matters, in part two, we're going to dig deeper into what actually happens when you sleep and what to track, along with the biggest mistakes that are quietly sabotaging your results. And if you want the full workshop plus the workbook, so you can actually apply this, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or email me and I'll send it right over to you. I'll see you in part two. Thanks for tuning in to the Copper State Fit podcast. I'm your host, Coach Adam Petropoulos. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, share, and leave a review. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Copper State Fit. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways from today's show. Until next time, keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep living in a state of fit.